All right, let's talk about one of the coolest paradoxes in all of military history. We're going to look at a weapon that was designed to win battles by breaking. That's right, the Romans built a javelin that was supposed to fail, and that so-called flaw was actually the secret to its incredible success.
So, put yourself in the sandals of a Roman general for a second. You look across the battlefield, and what do you see? You see the enemy, and they've locked their shields together, creating this solid wall of wood and iron. It's basically a walking fortress, and it's heading straight for your men. How in the world do you break that?
And make no mistake, this was not some messy mob. A shield wall was a serious, disciplined, and terrifyingly effective formation. It could brush off arrows like they were nothing, deflect spears, and stop a full-on cavalry charge cold. For a lot of Rome's enemies, this was their ace in the hole. So, for all their famous discipline and heavy armor, the Romans had a huge tactical puzzle on their hands. Before the legionaries could even get close enough to use their swords, they first had to figure out how to crack open that nearly perfect defense. And their answer to this puzzle was just a stroke of pure engineering genius. It's called the Pilum. Now, at first glance, yeah, it looks like a big, heavy javelin, something you throw right before you charge. But its real job, the thing that made it so brilliant, wasn't just about hurting the soldier. It was about killing his shield. And this is where we get to the heart of the paradox. Think about any other spear, from any other army in history. What do you want it to be? You want it to be strong, to stay straight, and hopefully you can pick it up and use it again. The Roman Pilum? It's the complete opposite. It was a one-and-done weapon, specifically made to bend and get ruined the moment it hit something. So why would you ever design a weapon to break on purpose? Well, because that one feature, that thing that looks like a terrible weakness, is exactly what made it one of the most devastating anti-shield weapons ever invented. This wasn't a mistake in the design, it was pure military genius. Let's just break this thing down. The anatomy is so simple, but it's brilliant. At the very front, you've got this little pyramid-shaped tip made of hardened iron. Its only job is to punch through a wooden shield. In the back, you have the heavy wooden shaft that gives it all its momentum, all its oomph. But the secret ingredient, the real magic, is that long, skinny piece of metal in the middle. It's made of soft, untempered iron. And that is the part that's designed to fail. So how did this all add up to something so devastating? Let's get into the incredible physics of what actually happens in that split second of impact. Okay, picture this in slow motion. First, a whole volley of these pila goes flying. That hard little tip does its job. Bam! It punches right through the enemy's shield. The very next instant, step 2, all the momentum from that heavy wooden shaft slams into that soft iron shank. It just can't take the force and it buckles, bending into a sharp L shape. And now for the knockout punch, step 3, the entire 7-foot, 5-pound spear is now stuck, hanging uselessly off the front of the guy's shield. And this is the moment where the true, terrifying purpose of the Pilum becomes crystal clear for the soldier on the receiving end. His most important piece of gear, the thing keeping him alive, has just been completely compromised. Almost instantly, his greatest strength becomes his biggest weakness. The bent pilum is impossible to just yank out, and its sheer weight and awkwardness makes his shield a nightmare to hold. His protection has literally become a prison. I mean, how much of a burden are we really talking about here? Well, because of the leverage you get from that long bent shaft, the effective downward force pulling on the soldier's arm is somewhere around 60 pounds. 60! I mean, just imagine trying to fight off a trained legionary while basically holding a 60-pound weight out in front of you. It's practically impossible. So this puts the enemy soldier in an absolutely impossible situation. He's got two choices, and they're both terrible. Option 1, he can try to fight with this heavy, clumsy thing attached to his arm, which makes him slow and a super easy target. Or, option 2, he can just drop his shield entirely and face a charge of sword-wielding Romans with absolutely no protection. It is a perfect lose-lose situation. It's no wonder our source material describes it so perfectly. The Pilum's design literally turns a soldier's protection into a tangled, suffocating death trap. It was a psychological weapon just as much as a physical one, creating total chaos right before the Romans hit their line. So here's the real key. You've got to multiply that one soldier's nightmare by hundreds, all up and down the enemy line. Suddenly, guys are dropping their shields everywhere, and huge gaps are opening up in that impenetrable wall. The Pilum didn't just break a shield, it broke the entire formation, clearing the way for the legions to pour in and do what they did best. It's just an amazing piece of design, right? Turning what looks like a weakness into a game-winning strength. And it kind of leaves you with this thought, doesn't it? What other flaws from history were actually brilliant, genius-level features just hiding in plain sight?